So have your feet flat on the floor, about a hip's width apart. Feel the soles of your feet on the floor. And the texture and the weight and the temperature. Then the backs of your legs in your chair, your sits bones in your chair. And align your shoulders with your hips and your ears with your shoulders. And imagine your spine is a beautiful string of pearls of light stretching from the base all the way up through the crown of the head and beyond. And just lengthen your spine. And then just putting some space in between the vertebrae. And then just lengthen the back of your neck so there's no you don't want constriction in the back of the head. So that means your chin's going to be down slightly, but not too far, not against your chest, but just relax, just giving a little bit of length there. And then go to the crown of the head and release any tension there. Relax the forehead and the eyes, the eyebrows, eyelashes, the nose, the cheeks, the area around the mouth, back of the tongue and the jaw, and the ears and the inner ear. Just relax. And then relax the back of the head and the area at the base of the skull, the occipital area. And just relax your shoulders. Allow the shoulders and shoulder blades to drop down. Relax the throat and the chest and the belly and all of your limbs. And just be aware of the sensation of the breath as you inhale and exhale. Then now also draw your attention to any potential distractions. So this could be, distractions of sound. Just allowing all the sound in your environment to be there, trying not to follow the mind with the mind. And just allow it, do its own thing. And then maybe notice perhaps this smell could be distracting. And then also, what's notifications on your screen. And then maybe, you look on your screen and you see the Facebook icon, you think, oh, I'll just have a little check of that, or Instagram, or you. So just allow all those distractions to be there. Again, try not to follow them. Try also not to judge yourself. A lot of these things we're fed very skillfully. And then just be aware of what's going on in your mind right now. Just allowing all the thoughts to arise and to abide. And again, try not to judge your thoughts. And then be aware of all the people of your life, your loved ones, your strangers. And there's the ones that you don't particularly like. And just remember these people, they're all equal. They all want to be happy. They're just like you and me. They don't want to suffer. And they all have this extraordinary capacity for a Buddha mind, enlightened mind. So we think we'll do this meditation this evening for all these people of our life, and by extension, all the sentient beings. And this includes every single, one of the reasons to look at the news, it's not just to gossip, to find out who you can pray for. And you'll find there's lots of material there. So, you might be coming across a news story that particularly touches your heart. So maybe you can think of those people. And today I saw a story about a young child who was in Gaza, and he lost he was caught up in a bomb attack, and they didn't have any anesthetic, so they had to take his leg off while he was awake. So this kind of thing happening all over the world, everywhere, all these different places. Now this child is traumatized, living in Egypt. This was on just in the New York Times. So you don't have to look very far to find people to pray for or to send these good thoughts out to. So I think there is no negativity that can't be purified. And this purification process is basically a psychological one. So we create negativity with our mind, so equally we can change it by creating positivity instead. And we start with this power of regret. So sincerely regret from the depths of your heart anything you have done to harm any living being on this day, in this life, and in all of our past lives. So think specific actions of both your body and your speech, and then in general, regret all. And the reason to regret is based on this logic of karma, and we experience everything due to our past karma, our past actions, and so having harmed others, we ourselves will necessarily experience suffering in the future. And we cannot bear the thought of any future suffering that we will experience. And we know from our present suffering we don't want any more. So logically it makes sense to remove the karmic seeds before they ripen as future suffering for us. So think like this. I regret from the depths of your heart having harmed others with my body and my speech, having broken my vows, because I do not want the future suffering. I'm sick of suffering, and also regret anger and attachment and the rest, our delusions that are the cause of why we harm others. And then think, I'm sick of this suffering. And then think, well, what can I do about it? And whom can I turn to? And then we come to the power of reliance. 2 sections there, refuge and developing compassion. So we rely on here on the Buddha, who we see as a doctor, Buddha Vajrasattva. And he has these methods that we can use to heal ourselves, to purify. And it's not that we're needing Buddha to forgive us. We're not looking for any kind of higher power. We're purifying ourselves by relying upon his medicine. So you imagine Vajrasattva above the crown of your head. You can also imagine this is the mind of your teacher manifesting in this form for your benefit. And he's made of this radiant, blissful white light, sitting cross-legged on a white lotus and a moon cushion. He has a beautiful, radiant face. His eyes are long and peaceful and full of love and compassion for you and all those people of your life. He has a sweet red mouth. His hair is black and held up in a top knot. His arms are crossed at his heart, the left underneath the right. The left is holding a bell representing wisdom, and the right is holding a vajra, which represents the indestructibility of compassion, and their being crossed represents the union of these two, and this symbolizes enlightenment itself, the development of infinite wisdom and infinite compassion. We say this little prayer here: to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened. by this practice of meditating on Guru Vajrasattva, may I reach Buddhahood so as to benefit all sentient beings. So then, in order to develop compassion, we need to rely upon other beings. So we think about people we've harmed, and then think about people who've harmed us. And just have a wish for them to be free from suffering. So think particularly of people you've harmed recently and in the past, and then in general, all beings we have ever harmed since beginningless time. And then remember those who have harmed you and have compassion for them, because the harm they've caused you is going to result in suffering for them sometime in the future. So make strong aspiration to do this practice of purification for the sake of all these beings, and think, I must purify for their sake. And then we come to the power of remedy. And this is the medicine, actual medicine, doing this practice of purification. And we start by purifying the body. And we're using mantra and visualization. So now you imagine Vajrasattva sends powerful white nectar, like coming out of a hose, quite forcefully from his heart. And it arcs around and enters your crown and pours into your entire body, filling you completely. And it keeps pouring into you until it forces out of your lower orifices all the harm you've ever done to any living being with your body in the form of inky liquid. And this pours out of you and disappears into space, not one atom left, as we recite the mantra. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida mebowa, sutokaya mebowa, sipokaya mebowa, anarakta mebowa, sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe, vajrasattva samayam nupalaya vajrasattva dina patita, jida mebowa, sutokaya mebowa, sipokaya mebowa, Anarakta mebowa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida mebowa sitokaya mebowa sipokaya mebowa Anarakta mebowa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Mebowa Situkaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anarakta mebowa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam guru hum ha ho bhagawan sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida mebowa sitokaya mebowa sipokaya mebowa Anarakta mebowa sawasidi mimpi yatsa sawa kama sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha Ha Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Mebowa Sutokaya Mebowa Sipokaya Mebowa Anarakta Mebowa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all the harm you've ever done to any sentient being with your body is now completely purified, and think that there's no way you could do anything other than benefit others now with your body. And next, our speech, purifying our speech. And imagine Vajrasattva very happily sends powerful nectar from his heart chakra and it arcs around and quite forcefully enters your crown and fills your entire body, except this time forcing up to the top of your body all the negativity of your speech. And this overflows and disappears into space, not one atom left. So you imagine all the gossip and the harsh speech and the useless speech and lying and talking about people behind their backs and getting other people to agree with you. All of this is purified by this powerful nectar filling you as you recite the mantra. Excuse me. Om Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimbi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe Om Vajrasattva Samayam Nupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa maha samaya satra a hum pe. Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya, vajrasattva dina patita, jida meboa, sitokaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa maha samaya sattva a hum pe vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita jida meboa sutokaya meboa sipokaya meboa anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Situkaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan sawa tata gata vajramame mutta vajrabawa maha samaya sattva a hum pe. So now feel so happy that your speech is now completely purified, and imagine it's not possible to do anything other than benefit others with your speech. And next is the purification of the mind. And Vajrasattva very compassionately sends powerful beams of light from his heart chakra, and this arcs around and enters your crown and fills your entire being. So this happens as instantaneously as when you just flick on a switch, when you walk into a dark room. So you imagine the light comes, the light from Vajrasattva's heart hits your heart chakra, then all the darkness of the negativity of your mind, all your attachment and neediness and anger and bitterness and grudges and depression and resentment and jealousy, all of this instantly dispelled, not one atom left as you recite the mantra. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramame Mutta Vajrabawa Maha Samaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam guru hum ha ha ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa maha samaya sattva a hum pe, vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita, jida meboa, situkaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jita Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Dida meboa, sutukaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame. Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa, Sutukaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anarakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa, Sutukaya Meboa, Sipokaya Meboa, Anarakta Meboa, Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe. So be delighted that all of your delusions, which are the source of all of our own suffering, cause of why we harm others with our body and our speech, are completely purified. And think that there's no space in your heart now for anything other than love and kindness and forgiveness and wisdom and bliss and compassion. And next is the purification of even the imprints of negativity of the body, speech, and mind. And imagine that Vajrasattva very happily sends light and nectar, and it fills you completely and eradicates even the subtlest imprints of negative energy from your consciousness. So you imagine the nectar flows down, pushing out all the negativity of the body. And then the nectar flows up, pushing out all the negativity of the speech. And then the light comes and just blasts all of the delusions. And this is happening all at the same time. And at the same time, you're also reciting the mantra. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida Meboa Sutukaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anarakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yata Sawa Kama Sitame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagavan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva A Hum Pe Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dina Patita Jida meboa, sutukaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, anarakta meboa, sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame, sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan, sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe, vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita, jida meboa, sutukaya meboa, sipokaya meboa, Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Jida meboa sutukaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Jida meboa sutukaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva samayam manupalaya vajrasattva dina patita. Jida meboa sutukaya meboa sipokaya meboa. Anarakta meboa sawasidi mimpi yata sawa kama sitame. Sitam shriyam guru hum ha 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 ho bhagavan. Sawa tata gata vajramami mutta vajrabawa mahasamaya sattva a hum pe. Vajrasattva Samayam Manupalaya Vajrasattva Dinapatita Jita Meboa Sutokaya Meboa Sipokaya Meboa Anurakta Meboa Sawasidi Mimpi Yatsa Sawa Kama Sutame Sitam Shriyam Guru Hum Ha 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 Ho Bhagawan Sawa Tata Gata Vajramami Mutta Vajrabawa Mahasamaya Sattva Ah Hum Pe. So now feel you are completely purified. There's not one atom of negativity left in your mind stream. Even the subtlest obscurations to your enlightenment have been removed. And now we come to the power of resolve, and this is the fourth and final step in the purification process. And it's really crucial because we have to decide that we want to refrain from harming. So if we don't decide, nothing's going to happen. We'll just keep doing the same old things over and over again. So have an aspiration and think of something you'd like to work on in with yourself between now and tomorrow. And keep it simple, keep it light. It doesn't have to be a big deal. We have so many habits. Just pick one, but maybe one of the easier ones. Don't pick your most difficult habit. Just something easy, then you'll be encouraged. And imagine now Vajrasattva was really delighted with us and wants to merge with your mind and melts into white light and absorbs into you through your crown, and think, my teacher's body, speech, and mind, and Vajrasattva's body, speech, and mind, and my own body, speech, and mind are the same. So next, Rinpoche would recommend to meditate on emptiness a little bit at the end of a practice. So he would say, in emptiness there is no I, the creator of negative karma. There is no action of creating negative karma, and there is no negative karma created. So however you understand this word emptiness in this particular tradition, just place your mind there for a little while. You can think of all phenomena as being empty. They do not exist from their own side. You can also think that the way things appear to me may not necessarily be the way they actually exist. So we just dedicate all the merit, all the positive energy you've created doing this practice to all living beings, and think, may all the virtuous karma I've created from doing this practice ripen as my enlightenment for the sake of sentient beings as quickly as possible. Okay, let's just do chanting the names of Manjushri. The teacher teaching mundane and good and knowledge, the teacher to all beings most confident, the world's most trusted guide, protector, savior, the world's the refuge unsurpassed, the guardian, with rich enjoyments filling all of space, the knowledge ocean of omniscient beings, while smashing through the shell of ignorance and breaking through the cage of cyclic life. The thorough queller of intense affliction, arriving at samsara's opposite shore, his crown, the crown of wisdom consecration, his ornaments comprising perfect Buddhas. Okay, everybody, let's have a strong wish for His Holiness the Dalai Lama to live long, and for the swift return of our precious Lama Zopa Rinpoche, and for all of your own individual teachers to live long.